Hello, and welcome to Home Performance Company Startup. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the tools that you need that are more personal. So last week, or actually 2 weeks ago, I took a little summer vacay. But 2 weeks ago, I did a little podcast about the tools required to be an energy auditor or a home performance contractor, basically one and the same. And today I want to talk a little bit more about the things that you need to carry on your person, things that are going to help you, do your job better. And I kind of broke it down into, well, I did break it down into three different categories. You've got the must-haves, so the things that you have to have as an energy auditor, you really can't get around it. The things that are going to make your job a little easier, so low cost things that I've found, through the years have just helped speed things up, made things easier for me. And then there are a couple on the list that I would say are luxury that, again, sort of, do what I said before, where they're going to help you, they're going to speed things up, keep you organized, but they're a little bit more on the costly side. So let's get right into it. So as far as the must-haves go, there's going to be a few things here that are obvious. So as I go through them, what I'll try to do is just give you any insights that I have from doing over 2,000 energy audits over the years. The first thing is a camera. And I work with a lot of younger guys, and I think they look at me crazy when I say this, and it might just be that I am, but I personally like to use, the old style camera, the one with the flash, not connected to the phone, I guess. And the reason for that is two things. One, I find the camera on the phone to be a little more cumbersome. So if I need to take quick shots here and there, I just want to gather information, I'm not looking to be, take the best picture in the world, then I find that the quick Fuji snap camera, I'll put a picture of it up for you, works really well. Now, over the years, for whatever reason, and I haven't really researched this, but it seems like digital cameras are getting more expensive, maybe because with the cell phones, they're more obsolete. I'm not really sure. So it's a little costly for that. But what I find is that it's easy to take shots. The flash works regularly. It's quick. And it also is shockproof. So if you drop it, it's not going to break right away. And also, the other thing that I like about it is that I can set the file size to really low. So if I am taking a bunch of pictures, I'm dumping them on my computer, I'm not taking up a bunch of space, and it's not taking me a long time to get the pictures into my file, into my report, I should say. All right, the next item on the list is a laser measure. And, probably most people know about them, but I do go into a house from time to time, and the owner is like, "Hey, what's that? What are you doing? You're taking readings?" And it's just a simple tape measure that you use a laser to get your dimensions of the house. And I just recommend the smallest one. I think it goes up to 65 feet. And yeah, there are a few houses on this earth that are greater than 65 wide or deep, but usually you can find a wall or something to bounce it off of so you can get two readings and make it, what you want. So, or figure out what the size is. All right, the next thing on my must-have list is a clipboard. You got to have something to, take notes and to keep yourself organized. And you've got to have that I feel like that hard surface to write on. So I just recommend a good clipboard. You got to absolutely have good gloves and a mask. Gloves for climbing around the attic, moving insulation. You don't want to get splinters. You don't want to get your hand punctured if you're running your fingers over ducts and so forth. So a good pair of gloves. Personally, I found a 3-pack at Costco. They're like $15. And I have to swap them out every few months because when you're sweating and stuff, they get a little bit nasty. But the good thing is they're really nice, high quality, they're protective, and they last a good long time, and they don't cost that much. All right, a couple more things here on the must-haves. I personally think that everybody has to have a headlamp. So I find that a headlamp is fantastic because it allows me to use both of my hands. It provides me with additional light in those tight spots, those dark places, basements, attics, of course. It allows me to see things that if I didn't have a headlamp attached and have it at least on a low setting that I may not have seen. So I highly recommend that you get accustomed to wearing a headlamp. And on that, just as a side note, I think that one of the things I found after maybe 2 years is that I wear my baseball cap and I have my headlamp with my baseball cap, and it's a lot more comfortable. And also, the baseball cap helps because, if you're moving around in cobwebs and spider webs in the attic or crawl space or something like that, then it just helps to keep some of that stuff, out of your face and out of your hair. All right. The last thing here. Oh, a small tape measure. So, you get up in the attic and you looking at it, and after a while you start to get a feel for how many inches just by looking at it. You can look at the ceiling joists, but even myself, not that I'm, the most experienced energy auditor or anything, but even myself, I find that sometimes it's good to have a measurement. Maybe the customer is particularly interested or the homeowner is particularly interested in how much insulation they have. There might even be a situation where you've got an attic that is deep on one side and real thin on another, so you want to maybe figure out what the difference is there, or just get a good accurate reading of what's going on up there. All right, so those are the must-haves, the things that I think personally that you need to have with you if you're going to do a good energy audit. So now I want to get into the things that are going to make your job easier. And I also think that these probably will add a little expense, but not that much, but they're going to go a long way. So let's talk about those. The first thing here that I think that has really helped me is a laser pointer. Because how many times, I don't know about you, but how many times I've tried to explain what the rim joist is, and I'm pointing and and when I have the red laser and I can just boop, boop, boop and show them what's going on, it just helps the homeowner understand. It cuts down any type of learning block or things that are going to make it harder. Because what I also try to do as an energy auditor, and I don't know if everybody does this, but you can certainly let me know in the comments, I sure would love to know, is I like to try to remember what I felt like when I was learning these things for the first time. Because we all live inside of these buildings our entire lives. And it's so interesting to me how we have no idea, what's really going on around us. So I try to take that approach and not make people feel like they're not intelligent, but keep things simple and easy to understand terms. And when you can cut out a lot of pointing and trying to get the person to sort of see things that are kind of high up that you can't reach, the laser pointer is fantastic. And another little tip for you, I've searched high and low on Amazon for these things. If you want to find a nice little cheap pocket size one, head up to CVS. I don't know why they have them there, and I don't remember what section it might be, the small electronics, but I found them one day and they are money. All right. That was the first thing on my how to make things easier list. Organized note sheet. Okay. So me personally, I don't know how your mind works, but there's a lot of stuff you got to do as an energy auditor. And what I did for myself is I created an organized one sheet, where I can put all my information. I have sort of developed a little bit of shorthand for myself just because, you do it long enough and you take notes and you don't want to write out the whole word. So you have to remember what you wrote. So you're going to develop. But the point is, if you have everything in the same place each audit, it does make it a lot easier to remember things, to make sure that you stay on track. You can easily, at least I've found, I can easily glance down at my note sheet and I can see, oh, that's an empty space. Whoa, I forgot to do that. Or, hey, I still need to get the information on this, this, and this. And it's just helped me. It's really helped me. And I can share that with you. It's just a simple PDF. I basically took a big magic marker. I made a bunch of boxes and kind of labeled it out. So, all right. The next thing I recommend, from a few incidents where I've gotten up in the attic and my pants have, not really, they've gotten caught on something. They get messed up pretty easy. So what I found, and it's really for two reasons, because if you get a nail or something caught on any pair of pants, I mean, they're going to rip. But I found a company. Now, they're a little pricey, so this might go on the luxury list for some. But I found a company called Kool, Kuhl. And what I like about their pants is that they're nylon, they're kind of like rugged, but they're also very lightweight. And the cool thing is they have all the pockets that I need for the little things that I, have for my little gadgets, like my pocket knife and my little tape measure. And I know I can put my laser pointer in a pocket and my laser measure in another pocket. And my camera fits in the back pocket. And I got a side pocket down, near my knee that I can put my reading glasses in. So you kind of get the point. I found that if you, want to do a good energy audit, then you got to make yourself comfortable and you got to make everything fluid. And if you have good amount of pockets and your pants are lightweight and you're not carrying that extra, heavy pant because you didn't think about this, then you're going to be able to do more audits in the long run. And I don't know, that's how my mind works. I've been around a while and I've worked for a long time. I'm 49 years old. And one of the things that I have realized, at least about myself, and I think people too, because I've managed people, is that we're human and we kind of get into like a rhythm. And if things are more difficult, then we tend to not want to do them. And what I try to do is, because I do enjoy the energy audits, but I also am smart enough to know that if I make it really hard for myself to do an energy audit, it's probably not going to be as fun and I'm going to resist it. So all of these little tricks that I'm talking about and these things that I keep on my person are all designed in some way or another to make my life more fun and easy. So the pants are fun and easy. All right, next thing here, no tie laces. All right, so I had a guy that I met when I first became an energy auditor, and he was just really, really smart. And one of the things he told me when we were on an energy audit, he was training me up, is it was a little saying that I think somebody even taught him. It's economy of motion. And I took that and as I just mentioned, I ran with it. It fits, who I am as a person. I want to make everything efficient, easy. I'm the type of person where I want to get all of the grocery bags from my car to my house in one shot. So I'm going to try to figure that out in any way I can because I don't want to go back out there type thing. But the no tie laces. So I don't know if you've ever seen these. It's actually becoming more of a thing. I got a pair of Asics a couple months ago, and they had two pair of laces, one regular tie and one stretch tie or no tie. And I've been using the no tie laces since I started doing energy audits. And the reason I do it is because personally, I can't stand the footies, the booties that you put on. I feel like that's not conducive to doing a good energy audit because I need my shoes to grip the floor. I'm climbing, I'm moving around on hardwoods, I'm climbing up and down stairs. I don't want to have that extra burden of my foot, slipping out. So I also realized that people, love it. Most people love it, even if they don't care. They like the fact that, you're cognizant of their house and the way they keep it, and they're, keeping germs, especially after COVID. But even prior to COVID, I was doing this. So where am I going with this? I take my shoes off, when I go in the house. And I have to go in and out of the house, as you know, as an energy auditor. Well, and you may not know because you may be listening to this and trying to figure out if you want to become an energy auditor. But you are going in and out of the house. And like I said earlier, you're going into the attic. And I like to wear my shoes in the attic. So I like to be able to slip my shoes on and off real quick. I don't want to have to sit there and deal with laces and tying them. And, for me, it's all about, again, just comfort, ease of use, in and out, economy of motion. All right, here we go. We talked about the hat. Last thing on my things that are going to make your life easier, knee pads. So it depends on where you are in your life. I'm 49. My knees, I've done a lot with them. I need some extra protection. So I've pretty much resorted probably about a year ago going full time to like the hard plastic type of knee pad. Whereas early on, I was just using something a little bit more, just a pad, because you're climbing around the attic, you're setting up the blower door test. So I'm constantly on my knees, up, down, moving around. I have to crawl on joists. Sometimes I got to get in crawl space. Sometimes I got to bend down and show the customer. So I like to protect my knees at all times, and it just makes it, easier, and it makes it, more comfortable. All right, so those are my things so far, must-haves, things to make it easier. And I got a few luxury items here that I want to talk about. And then I'm going to give you a quick bonus tip at the end. And it's going to tie back to the shoes. All right, so the first thing as luxury goes, if you want to be a really good energy auditor, you want to take it to another level, I highly advise you to invest in some type of camera, possibly a GoPro. And the reason I say this is because it is absolutely, hands down, just going to make a huge impact on somebody when they can see what's going on in their attic, which, as a side note, is usually just basically a disaster. But I like to show people what's going on. I feel like most people don't want to get in their attic under any circumstance, so they are leaving they're putting a lot of trust in you. So I don't even leave it to be gray. I set up a video camera every time I go into an attic. I don't share it with everybody. I can't, but I do try to make sure that the ones that either show that they have like a sincere interest in what's going on, or maybe they have also expressed that they're never going in their attic under any circumstance, then I try to give those people the videos. And then the ones that are a little less, worried or more inclined to see what's going on in their attic, then, I sometimes don't have to do it for them. But I do take video on every attic tour that I do, and I suggest you do the same. Okay, the next thing here that I think is a luxury item that everybody needs. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. A luxury item that I think really works well for a lot of reasons. As an energy auditor, especially if you want to start your own business, then you have to also do a lot of things with notes and writing ideas down, and you have to keep yourself organized. And I found no better system than what's something called the Remarkable 2. And the best way that I can describe a Remarkable 2, and I'm going to show it to you here in a second, is kind of like a Kindle, but it's not for reading books. It's for writing notes. So it is basically an electronic tablet / electronic piece of paper / electronic notebook / way to keep your files organized. And that's a lot. So let's kind of break it down. For my audits, I go in, I use it. So I took my PDF, I talked about it earlier, my energy audit notes, and I turned it into a PDF, of course, but that PDF now lives on my Remarkable, and I can write over top of it. So I can put all my notes on my PDF. It saves the notes on top of the document. It flattens it down, smashes it down, and makes it so that I can print it, or I can transfer it over, or I can put it into a report, or whatever I need to do with it. So that's the first thing. You can use it to take your audit notes, and then, usually an energy audit, you have the customer sign off on maybe something, or you have some kind of document. Maybe they sign off to say that you did the audit today, or what have you. I also do my terms and conditions right there on the tablet. So I have a little folder. I've got my notes, for the audit. I've got my sign-off sheet for the customer. I kind of prep all this before I go. So when I get there, I can just flip through, and then there's a pen that comes with it. In fact, I'm going to show it to you. No, I can't. It's gone. It's not here right now. But I'm going to show you a picture of it. But that's the next thing there, the Remarkable 2. Check it out. Oh, and by the way, you can use it to brainstorm. You can have one notebook set up for all of your notes if you're thinking about energy audits and how you can do it better, or maybe something you need, or, anything. Maybe it's your grocery list. You can throw it on there and have a folder and compartmentalize it, and you can put it on your computer, and then you can print things out, or you can have it on your phone, or whatever you want. It's really cool. It's not really a novel idea because it's 2023, but I do think the Remarkable 2 is a really nice one. All right, and then the last thing here, as far as luxury goes, that I've found that is really helpful is a smartwatch, because I have to do some timing, some intervals, and it just helps me to have the smartwatch, because it's got a timer on it, and boom, I can just pull it up and get my 5 minutes or whatever for my combustion analyzer testing, and boom, it's right on my wrist. I'm carrying it around. I don't have to go to my phone and open up a different app or whatever. It's right there. Boom, it's quick. All right, and my bonus tip today. My bonus tip for you. We talked about the no tie shoelaces. And I kind of left one part out. Okay, Eric, well, if you take your shoes off, what are you doing? Well, me personally, I learned this from a really smart guy who taught me, everything that I know, or at least got me started and got me certified and so forth. And his name is Dave. And Dave took me out one day to do a sort of a follow, walk around, energy audit type thing. And he, put his Crocs on. Got to the door, put his Crocs on. And it was like a mind-blowing experience for me. And the reason it was mind-blowing for me is because, number one, for years and years, I've been doing window, estimates for people and taking my shoes off and walking around in my socks. And two, it was mind-blowing because it just makes so much sense. Get a white pair, Dr. Crocs, and keep them nice and clean. And I roll up to the door when I first get there, and they're right in my hand, and people see them. And a lot of times, people, ask me to take my shoes off, and they've got booties, and I can just, oh, hey, what about my, indoor shoes? And 99.9% of the time, they're like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, actually, I really appreciate that. And for me, it's makes me feel great because, one, I know that they're comfortable. They feel comfortable with me. I've already set a good I've set a good I've made a good impression, right? And it's just it's normal. I mean, people want you to respect their things. But the other thing that it does for me is sets me on a pathway to where, okay, I know that's not going to be another thing I got to worry about, like taking my shoes off, putting them back on, putting on booties, dealing with all those headaches, which at the end of a 3-hour audit or whatever you're doing, that could take 7 minutes of time, if you have laces. So me, 7 minutes there, 3 minutes here. I want to do things effectively and efficiently, back to the economy of motion. So I appreciate you watching. And if you have any suggestions on things that you might want to learn, I'm thinking of all the possible ways that I can communicate as much information and be as helpful as possible to anybody out there who's interested in becoming an energy auditor or home performance contractor. I thank you. And until next time, have a great day.